All right. Now, now we're back. I think I think this works this time. Hey, Jerry, Marty again. So, can you hear me this time? Okay, good. I tell you what, I see it's Halloween, all kinds of spooky stuff happening out in the train room. No telling. All right. So maybe the other 3 or 4 people will jump back in again. Wait just a minute. So, anyway, pretty good, Jerry. I was out. I had a couple guys from my train club come over and help me this afternoon a little bit. So they got some road bed laid, and now I'm laying track. I just thought I'd hang out in the train room. If anybody else wanted to hang out, then that might you might give me tips. Who knows? So I'm trying to. I've got, as I was showing earlier, I've got this road bed. I'm coming around. I just laid this one piece of track. So I'm going to come around here and lay that there. See who else pops in. That's right. That's right. I will get an extra hour tonight. I don't know how much I'll get laid, but how much track I'll get laid here, but hopefully, I get some. Um, trying to. They laid it just a little short of where it should have been, so I'm trying to. It's going to kind of go to the edge, but I can fix that. I'll put some more cork under the edge, a strip of cork, and then when I ballast it, nobody will know. So I've got micro engineering track. I don't know what you guys use. But, the difference, one of the big differences, the micro engineering is kind of holds its shape. So when you bend it, it's not like Atlas Flex Track. So actually, when I bend it, it stays bent. The problem is it's not easy to bend because you'll see when I curve it this way, then this side wants to go like that. So yeah, I love micro engineering just because of how good it looks. I mean, the detail on it, the tie plates and things like that, and the size of the ties and the spacing. I think it's some of the best, and it's made here in the U.S. So that's another good thing about it. And it's relatively the same price as the Atlas stuff and some other brands that are made overseas. Oh, Enfield is back. Glad to have you back. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I obviously have Ghost in my computer since it's Halloween night. So I'm going to run my, I've got a gauge here and I'm just going to run it through my track and make sure it's fairly set. It doesn't hold its shape completely, so when I when I run it through here, it'll give it just about the radius it needs, but I'll still have to kind of work with it as I'm laying it. So I think all of our trick-or-treaters are done for the night. And so if there's any left, my wife will answer the door. So Marty, I don't know. I'm using a program called SCARM. So it was a free download as well I'm using. Hey Possum, how are you doing? Yeah, Possum, I like the microengineering turnouts, but you're right. They can the little spring in them, especially sometimes I've had to have several replaced. And I mean, microengineering is good about doing it, but I just don't like being without my switches for a week or two while they're replacing the springs in there again. Hey, Anthony's in here. So I'm putting my track gauge in to try to curve my microengineering track. I have to push it through. So you have to push it through several times to get it close to the shape you want it to be. What else we got in here? Let's see. Oh, that's it. Now I think I've got said hi to everybody. This was just kind of an impromptu thing. I figured while I was laying track, maybe somebody wanted to watch me lay track. Or it's about like watching paint dry, I think. So almost got this run through it. Like I say, when you get it run through there, I'm using a 32-inch radius, and it'll hold it probably around a 40-inch radius curve once I run the 32 gauge through it. It won't hold a 32, but it'll hold close to it. And then as I lay it, I try to bend it as much as I can, to get it back to its 32-inch radius. There we go. Now I've got these gauges from Ribbon Rail. The reason I'm using them is because they come in different size radiuses. I have those other ones from, I think Pico makes them, but they come in 30 and then 36. So, hey, Sparky, how's it going? So because I'm doing 32, these ribbon rail gauges worked out. What I did though is I kind of modified them. I drilled, if you can see, I drilled 3 little holes in them so that I can, when I get over the place where I'm going to put the track nail in, it can just push it through that hole. But first, I have to cut this. I had some of those rail cutters, but the points broke off of both of them. I had 2 pair, and they both the points broke off of them. So, and they seemed to get dull really quick. So, I've gone back to using my Dremel tool. All right. And one other good thing about this micro engineering track, I can use I'm using the Atlas Code 80 N scale rail joiners with them. They work really well. They're good tight fit. Plus, they're a lower profile than the HO scale. Yeah, Sparky, I agree with you. I tried the rail cutters, and like I said, they got dull so quick. I went back to the Dremel, and I like the cut with the Dremel better also. So y'all just hang out a second while I try to line this up. There we go. I'll push the nail down in my track. I think I drilled this hole a little off center. So I've got to right with it there. Hey Kyle, how are you doing? Randy's back. Sparky, I think you were the ones that mentioned these ribbon rail gauges, if I'm not mistaken. And I bought a couple of them because, like I said, The Pico ones don't come in too many different sizes. Wow, Kyle's getting ready for work. That's the way it is, Anthony. Sometimes you just gotta walk away. Now I'm going to yeah, I'll probably cut some instead of drilling holes. I'll probably elongate them and make them so so in case uh, if I since I cut them off just a little bit. And I already painted my track before I put it down. I find it easier to paint the track first and then lay it if you're using flex track. Go. Aha. Okay, am I missing anything good? BNSF Rail Fan, how's it going? And James, I forgot, did I say hi to you or not? I had to restart this live stream, so I forget who was in the first one. There we go. Now I'm getting to where I start going straight. Yeah, this was laid. I had some guys helping me earlier, and this was laid just a little short there of what it should have been. So now, there we go. I can kind of straighten it back out. I think what I'll do is, hang on a second, I'm going to be out of frame. I'm just going to take a piece of cork and lay it where it's short. And I'll just slide it under there. And then you want to. So I hope everybody had a good Halloween tonight. Like I was saying earlier, we had a few trick-or-treaters, but not too many. Maybe about 12 kids. Seems is what we had. So now we got a bunch of candy left over. Because I bought 2 bags just in case. I always buy too much. There we go. Yeah, sometimes it's hard laying this stuff just right. I myself have had to, lay extra cork under certain sections. 40? Gee. See you, Kyle. Oh, that's a lot, Sparky. It's funny here. One year I'll have 30, 40 kids, and then the next year there'll be 10. It's just I never can gauge it, so it's really strange. And that's pre-COVID. It's been like that too. So you just never know how much candy to buy. I'm sure the candy won't go to waste. So. All right, so I got my strap down. Now I am doing my straight section. I run what I try to do when the curve is gonna reverse back. I make sure that I put in a straight section that is at least as long as my longest car, and that prevents problems with the derailing because of the couplers and that kind of stuff. And my longest car happens to be 80 flat car, so it's 12 and a half inches from coupler knuckle to coupler knuckle. So. Wow, Anthony. couple hundred kids. That is incredible. I don't think anywhere I've ever lived I've had that many kids come by. There we go. So there's my, you can see it, there's my straight section. And just in case, let's see, I can take these out now because I got the track laid in there. And here comes my longest car, this flat car. So I'll tell you, perfect. That is perfect. John, how's it going? Glad you could hang out with me tonight. So now I got to see about curving it back. Might want to go a little straight with this for just a little while and then curve it. So let's see. Would you say, Randy? Those are. Oh, you got the TTX ones. Yeah. Oh, it's Wilmer. Yeah, this is. I don't know what your. This is an Athearn. This was a ready to run Athearn or ready to roll, whatever. I think this one behind it is a Walthers because this is only a 75-foot one. Yeah, this is a 75-foot one, but it's good enough for testing through the curve. Even at a 32-inch radius, it still looks kind of funny. All right. Wilmer, glad you could join us this late at night. I thought it'd be past your bedtime. All right, let me keep bending this micro engineering track. As I said, it's beautiful track the way it's manufactured. It's just sometimes it's a pain to work with. You think I'd really be that mean, Sparky? Oh, that is good, Wilmer. Yeah, that is good having all the kids coming over to your church like that. Did you sit in the dunking booth, Wilmer? You should have had them throw baseballs and try to dunk you. Now let's see if I can curve this back again. All right, well, it's probably too cold to sit in a Dunkin' booth tonight anyway, wasn't it? All right, let me see how that works. Might have to kind of line this up. I think that'll work out. Curve it sooner. All right, I'll be around 10 when Toy Man gets here. Oh, you must be making plans for something else. Let's see. So, if I do that, and then that will be perfect. So all I need to do is cut a hair off of this. Whoop. Now, I guess I went too far. Y'all keep talking. Don't let me interrupt you. I know watching somebody lay track isn't the most exciting thing in the world. I even like to cut my rail joiners with this Dremel. As I was saying before, I'm using I'm using the Code 80 N scale rail joiners because this micro engineering track they fit really well. Oh yeah, by all means, Wilmer, put that link up so we can watch it. For those of you just arriving, I just wanted to just hang out in the train room tonight and lay some track with you guys. You can watch what I'm doing here. Like I said, it's not about like watching paint dry, but uh, just good hanging out. All right, so now I got another little bit of straight track there. That'll be good before my reverse curve. So when you're laying track and you've got an S curve, like I said before, just always remember to put in a straight piece in your S as long as your longest car or engine. So, like I said, got some 89-foot flat cars for trailers, and they are from knuckle to knuckle. They're 12.5 inches. So I need a straight piece that's 12.5 inches before I reverse my curve back. That'll really help with a lot of alleviating a lot of derailments and things like that. I did not see it, Wilmer. Uh, and all right, so Wilmer, you're a moderator now, so you can go ahead and see if you can try to add the link again. I guess I can trust Wilmer as a moderator. So now that I've got a good straight, probably got about a good 13 inches of straight in my S curve now. So now I can just go ahead. I've got plenty of room. So I will just curve it back before I get into my run. There we go. There we go, Wilmer. It came through that time. Is that 10 a.m. Eastern time, I suppose, Wilmer? Yeah. Same for me, Wilmer. I won't be able to see it when he releases it, but I'll catch it. Let's see. Trying to figure out my angles here because, as I was saying, this was laid a little tight over here. So I went out further, and now when I come back, I think what I will do, I know you hate doing this, you hate ripping up track. I think what I will do is just take the nails out and then start the straight part sooner. Hold on, I think I need a pair of pliers. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to pull this nail out and start the curve a little sooner. Because what's happening is over here, if you can see that, I'm ending up too close to my edge. So if I start the curve a little sooner, I can bring it where it needs to be. This is one reason I nail my track down first before I glue it. I don't necessarily glue my track down. What I do is I nail it down, and then when I ballast it, I figure that's enough glue to hold it. So this way I can adjust by just pulling the nails out. Okay, we'll start right there. Now if I start putting it there. Yes, that's what I'm doing, Wilmer. So you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. There's my yard. And I've come around the curve here, and now I am going back up towards the front. So that's what I'm doing. And I'll see you, Sparky. So there we go. I'm over a little further than I were. So, yeah, Wilmer, I don't know if you've ever worked with microengineering track, but you see, it's a little bit of a pain to work with, but it looks so good. So I kind of like using it. And when we laid my cork road bed this afternoon, it ended up being off just a little bit, but that's okay. I corrected it by putting a third piece here. So I've just got a wider road bed is all. And I might take this up, or I may just leave it there. I don't know. It's not going to hurt anything, that's for sure. We can, you can always scenic around it and make it look good. Scenery will cover a lot of your mistakes. Yeah, so the microengineering track isn't like the Atlas Flex track. It doesn't spring back into shape. Once you bend microengineering track, it kind of holds its shape to a degree. Now, if y'all will hang on one more second, I'm going to walk to the other side of the layout and grab two things. Two things that are good when laying track, of course, a straight edge. So you can push the ties up against the straight edge and make sure, make sure that you can see that I've got to my straight section now. So what I'm going to do is push my ties up against it. And now I can make sure when I nail the track down, it's straight. And you can use anything. This is just a metal bar, but you can use a ruler, anything like that. This is so the other thing that's invaluable. What mistake? Good night, John. The other thing that's invaluable is a mirror. You can see all the way back into the laptop. If you use a mirror, and this is especially true when you're laying switches, just put it on. And I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see if there's any wrinkles. So, you know, but it's really good when you're laying switches to use a mirror. So now my track has finally come out where it needs to be. I'm going to lay this other piece of cork under it. Just to widen the road bed a little bit, but also right here, I'm going to have a switch now because it's going to go. This switch is going to be for my paper mill and my wood yard. The switch right here, when I put it in wherever it is, so one neat little thing. I told you about laying a straight piece off the S curve. Well, you would want to do the same thing for a switch. Since the track's curving this way, if this switch happened to be curved back the opposite way, which this one doesn't, you'd want another straight piece in here that's as long as your longest car. But since I'm coming off a curve that's going this way and my switch is curving that way, I don't have to worry about putting a straight piece in there. So did that make sense? I hope it did. Let's see. So the reason, James, that I used, so if you'll notice, I wouldn't use anything less than a 2-inch thick piece of foam anyway, just because it's so solid. But you'll notice that I used two 2-inch pieces of foam. So I've got 4 inches of foam there. And the reason I did that is because instead of laying my track and having grades or what am I trying to say? Having inclines and things like that. What I'm going to do is have my track on the same level throughout the entire layout, and then I'm going to either add foam on top or dig down into the foam for for the scenery. So if I wanted a deep river, then having that 4 inches of foam, I can dig down pretty deep. 4 inches is what in HO scale, if I multiply it by 9, that's 36, right? So I've got a lot of a lot of depth there to cut out if I want a river or something like that. So, well, that's a good question. It would probably be different if I was installing switch motors, but I'm not. And the reason I'm not installing switch motors is because the place that I'm modeling in Louisiana, and it's going to be semi-prototypical, had no electric switches and had no signals. So I don't have to worry about signals or switches. All my switches are going to be thrown manually. So I'm not worried about switch motors. Yeah, if you had to worry about switch motors, you would probably, you know, not want to put 4 inches of foam down. So that's why. So I can just forego, worrying about switch motors and signals. So yes, semi prototypical. So to get different varied industries into my layout, uh, it's you know I'm saying it's going from Alexandria, Louisiana, up to Minden. But some of the industries that I have weren't really on that run from Alexandria to Minden, so that's why I'm just kind of making up the towns. So it will be set in 1976, still on the Kansas City Southern, but it's the towns that I'm going to put along the way and the industries weren't really there. So that's why I say semi-prototype. So yeah, and James, you don't have to use foam. I mean, the cork is fine by itself for the road bed. I mean, that's no problem at all. Like I said, I did it just for the sake of scenery, and that's why I planned mine that way. So let me see. Put a piece of cork down here so you can see what I'm doing. I think. And remember, when you're on foam, if you're going to use this foam insulation, you have to use water-based products on it. Uh, any solvent-based products are going to melt the foam. So if you paint it or glue, it's got to be something water-based. You try to use if you try to use a solvent-based product, then you're just going to melt divots in your foam, and it's not going to work well with you. So, and that's why when you paint it, use latex paint, just latex house paint, water based. Yeah. And two, where you're in Ontario too, right, James? So I think at least until you get into northern Ontario, it is fairly flat up there, as from what I remember. I haven't been up there in a while. I think last time I was up there was at least 7 years ago. So it's been a while. All right. So, yep. All right. So what I'm going to do is to give me a long enough siding. Actually, I'm probably going to cut it right here. There we go. And now I can put my switch on here. This is where my switch will go. Let me get some joiners. For my switch. And then this will be the switch that's leading into my paper mill on this side. So I'm going to have a paper mill here up at that end. And when it comes back this way, I'm going to have switches going back this way. There'll be a wood yard back here. So hopefully there'll be a lot of switching to do at the paper mill. You know, and then I'm going to have a siding with about three tracks for drop offs and set outs, and then maybe a little switcher or something. I've got a little, believe it or not, I've got a little Plymouth switcher that I took apart. It's an old AHM. My grandmother had actually bought it for me back in the 70s. So so I've got that little switcher, and I'm thinking about I've had it apart because something was wrong with the motor. I'm going to put it back together and put a decoder in it so I can actually use it probably here in the paper mill area, so you can switch the paper mill by itself. So I thought that would be fairly prototypical for a lot of paper mills. They'll have their own small switcher. I know now they've got a lot of places just have those. They look like little cars that just run on the rail. But back in the 70s, I don't recall them having anything like that. Not that they did, not that it didn't. But so see what I'm doing here. Pull the camera down. You probably don't want to look at me. I mean, that would get real boring real quick. So I'm just pushing the ties down so I can slip the rail joiners on the end of the rail. So there we go. Yeah, these N-scale rail joiners fit real nicely on this Micro Engineering Code 83 track, and they're, like I said, they've got such a nice low profile that it's better. All right, perfect. So here's where I get my mirror out and make sure my switch is great. It does look pretty good. Go. Right there is perfect. Well, see you, Wilmer. James, yes and no. I do I do go around and solder some of my joints, especially the ones off the switches. But I don't solder every joint. If I find that there's a piece of problem track or something, I'll solder that as well. But I don't solder all my joints. I usually just do to the switches, and that's it. So this is I forgot to drill the holes for the nails in the switch, so I'm gonna do one. I think that's good enough for the switch right there. And once again, I'll just check it with my mirror just to make sure I got it straight. Yeah, it looks pretty straight. And then I'll continue to lay my main line on down there, but I think it's getting, well, it's 9:45, but I know it's really 8:45, so yeah, I'll add feeders when I do it to on the switches. I'll do them on all 3 points, and then but on my main line, what I normally do is just every 6 feet I'll drop feeders, so to my bus wire. So Dremel, it's a 3000, so it does what I need it to do. I know there's fancier ones, but I've never needed anything more than this one. That's for sure. Yeah, I think I see a small right here, so I'm gonna pull the nail up. Let that relax a little bit. If I pull it right there. So what I need to do, and this will help line track up. I'll just put a nail in there. I think that lines it up a little bit better. All right, so I got a nice, hopefully a nice. So good, got a good flow there. Don't have any binding or anything, and that's running 2 long flat cars, an 89 and an 80, or an 89 and a 75-foot one. So, wow, James, yours is probably older than, because I don't think this one's made in the U.S. I had one. Nope, this one's made in Mexico. I had I had one that gave up the ghost about just last year, and I think I bought that one. So, but anyway, I think this is where I'm going to stop tonight. So I appreciate everybody watching. Kind of an impromptu thing, just laying some track, and maybe I'll just every once in a while just do one of these impromptu ones. So appreciate everybody tuning in. and I will. I guess I'll see y'all next time. So y'all take it easy. See you, Jerry, James, Marty. Anybody else is still on? We got 6 people in here, so that's pretty good. I will. Y'all take it easy, and I'll see you later. Have a happy All Saints Day tomorrow. So long.